Welcome everybody to the Church of the Tone Priest. Today on the bench we have a Music Man amplifier. She's looking pretty sweet. This is a model 2275-65. Here we have the Goodyear blimp view of the guts of this amplifier. And I've been poking around a little bit in here, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. This is a solid state preamp, and as you can see right here, all those metal army hats right there for the preamp, and this is definitely not my forte.
Consider us pioneers. Introducing the Kia Forte, the first of its kind.
I don't really think I have a forte, but even if I did, this certainly wouldn't be it. So anyway, Music Man. As we all know, Leo Fender sold Fender Electric Instruments to CBS.
LeVar Burton is the man called Dummy. Paul Sorvino is the deaf attorney determined to save him. Dummy.
This is CBS.
In 1965 or thereabouts. And then he joined forces with another company that became Music Man. Rumor has it that he didn't have a whole lot of involvement with the amplifiers. He was more the guitar and bass guy. But you can definitely see how this thing was very inspired by, I mean, the chassis looks just like, you know, this thing could be a Bassman or a Deluxe or something. I believe it's galvanized metal. It seems to have a coating. I could be wrong on that, but it's shiny metal. Anyway, I've had this sucker for a while now, maybe close to 2 years, and probably about 6 months ago I put her on the current limiter and I fired her up, and it sounded all wonky. Sounded like it was only running one tube. And when I was poking in here last weekend, I noticed that this wire right here, that's pin 1, that's the plate of the phase inverter that had come loose, so that'll do that. But anyway, I got all the parts to give her a recap and change out all the electrolytics because they're due. I think this amp was made in '73, so this is definitely ready for an oil change. So we're going to start with a recap and then see where we're at after that, and we may go on and do some other things. So I'm going to flip her over and I'll show you what's going on under the Doghouse. Alright, here's the business end of this amplifier. As you can see, she does have some artillery. Look at this output transformer. It's bigger than the power transformer. She has two 6CA7/EL34 power tubes, and then a 7025 that is a phase inverter. And yeah, these guys definitely need to go. So this is where we're going to start. And for posterity's sake, let's see if we can get some light here. This will be the schematic we're using. Get some close-up shots if you want to take a look at that. And I'll put a link in the description so you can look at it from there. It's got some neat stuff. It has a high and a low power mode. And what it actually does is it splits the primary coil of your power transformer. So instead of injecting 120 volts, it injects something a little bit less than that, which would sort of be like how Eddie Van Halen used the variac to lower the voltage going into his amplifier. But we don't have all the 2B preamp goodness, so let's see what happens. Rumor has it this is a very excellent sounding clean amp. And of course, famous people that used it were Eric Clapton. Albert Lee, Mark Knopfler, I guess. But I think, you know, if you're a chicken picker or a funky jazzy guy like a Nile Rodgers, this would be right up your alley. And then obviously this is probably going to be a very good pedal platform. So alright, let's do some work and let's find out if she's any good. Here we go. So it looks like the Doghouse capacitors were changed at one time in the past. And as you can see, they didn't bother, you know, lifting the board and doing it right. They clipped the leads of the old capacitors and then just soldered onto those. Yeah, there you go. Beautiful work right there. I don't know why they didn't do that. Probably would have been just as easy. I mean, it's 2 screws and this thing lifts right up. It's not like there's a bunch of wires going through holes on all sides of this thing. So, whatever. But we're doing it, hopefully we're doing it right this time. Alright, hopefully you can see this. We have a 10 watt resistor here. 10K ohms. And these, this yellow and this gray wire were kind of tucked under it. I'm trying to get the light to work, but the white wire going to the second leg here, you can see it's totally been cooked. It's got some brown heat damage. Hopefully these wires are still good, otherwise we'll have to run new wires. But I think they'll be alright. I think it's just discoloration. I don't think there was any like real damage to the conductors. But yeah, nice. This resistor is still measuring spot on, so we're going to do our best to make sure we don't break her, and we'll clean her up and reuse her. Alright, we got the Doghouse board all stripped down. We got fresh wire on all the wires, or fresh conductors exposed on all the wires. And we just cleaned up the board itself with some ISO.
Who's under the door?
Take that! Shows that I've got real entertainment things.
Tone Pet says there's someone at the door, so we're going to go check that out. And then we'll be back. Alright, we're taking a little break here. The letter carrier just dropped something off. Let's see what we got. Oh, we got some newspaper to read. I always enjoy reading newspapers from other towns. Ooh, look at that. See that? A little bubble wrap. There we go. We have 3 RCA tubes. They're all the same. Can you read that? Oh, the light is terrible. Sorry. Can you read that? We have 3 6 SJ7s. Look at that. Metal tubes, baby. You know these are going to be for something old. But this project will be coming should be coming relatively soon, so something to look forward to. Got the new Doghouse capacitors all installed, capacitor and resistor. Didn't come out too bad. Definitely a lot nicer than the last job. And it's interesting, these 2 big ones here, these 100 micros at 450, are in series, but unlike most Fenders, they don't have strapping resistors. But I'm not here to reinvent the wheel, so I'm just going to leave it as it was designed, and we're going to move on. We've got her flipped over, and the plan is to replace these 2 electrolytics, these 2, and this one. This one may have been replaced in the past. It's the only Sprague atom in here, so I may or may not do that one. We'll probably fire her up after I do these 4. But the layout's, you know, very neat and clean, and as you can see, there's only wires on 2 sides of the board, so it should be pretty easy to lift it up. You know, a lot of amplifiers, this wire's coming from every angle, and you've got to really start disconnecting a whole bunch of crap just to get to the underside of the board, but this should be fairly easy. I already have this guy lifted up, so we'll get these two out, get the new ones in there, and maybe we can fire her up, see if she still has the ghost. Alright, I got these two caps out. The one on the right measured 183, it was supposed to be 150. The one on the left measured 172. So the one on the right is out of spec, and the one on the left is technically still within 20%. But you see this one on the right, I don't know if you can see it, but it looks like the cap is starting to bulge, that black ring there. So yeah, definitely time for these guys to go. Got those two replaced, they're looking pretty nice. Underneath this board is just a piece of foam, and so it screws down, and then the bottom of the board presses up against a piece of foam. But under all these screws here are little plastic standoffs. So I'm hoping that as I pull this up to get these two caps out, those standoffs don't go flying everywhere, because this would be a major pain in the ball sack to get all those standoffs where they need to be and the screws screwed back in. So wish me luck on that. Got these two out from there, and they're both out of spec. One was like 187, the other one was 186. So they were due to go. But we got new ones, and it'll be nice. And then the procedure here is remove the caps. Then I'm going to go under with some wick, clean up the pad, and then install the new ones and put some nice fresh solder down there. Here we go. Alright, got those second two capacitors installed. Haven't flopped that guy out, but swapped them out. I think I want to dial her up and see where we're at here. You never want to do too much work before you test it out, because then you know, if it's not working right, you don't know where to look. But like I said before, I did fire this up about 6 months ago, and it worked, but it sounded like one tube was out, and you know, this red wire right here, one of the plate wires for the phase inverter, was disconnected. So with that resoldered on there, and with this new stuff, she should be good. So yeah, got a beautiful crate 4-ohm speaker. This will be perfect. Alright, so yeah, let's do that. Let's fire her up, see where we're at. Here is the ammunition of choice we're using today. We have a pair of Electro Harmonics EL34s, and we have a vintage RCA 7025. I know you can't see it, but that's what it is. Alright, fingers crossed, here we go. Alright, we slowly dialed up the variac. We've got it just over 80 volts, and that all looks good. And I got scared there for a second because it looks like it should be working, but I hit the guitar and nothing happened. But actually the master volume is for both channels, even though it looks like it's only for the second channel. But yeah, it's making noise. Good times. Alright, I'm turning my attention to some other parts of the circuit here. Right now, specifically, you know, the power from the wall. And it looks like, unfortunately, they have the neutral lead going to the fuse, and then the black, you know, hot lead on the other side here. They have quite a bit going on. Now, I think I'm going to leave it the way it is. What I may do is replace, well, I'm definitely going to replace this capacitor right here. This is your, where are you? Yeah, this capacitor right here. What I'm definitely going to do is replace this capacitor here. That's your death capacitor. And I got some safety capacitors. And what these do is if they go bad, they short open instead of shorting to ground. So I'm going to do that. And, another thing that makes me a little more confident in just leaving this is this. You see this light bulb here? It's this guy right here. I believe what that does is that kind of works like a current limiter, just like that guy does right there. If there's a short or something, that will limit the current that goes through, you know, the primary of your transformer. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's what's going on. And then the final thing that I noticed here is the high and low. I thought what that was doing was when it's in high mode, you go through the entire coil of the primary, and then low mode not. But when it's in high mode, it goes through this black-yellow wire. And if you can see that guy, that's that guy right there. And that actually looks like it goes, you know, it's a tap a little bit down on the primary coil here, and then low mode goes through the whole thing. How that works, I don't know. Or, you know, I'm not exactly convinced what the high and low function does on this amplifier. So if anybody understands that, you know, throw that in the comment section. But that's that. And the indicator light right here has its own tap off of the primary of the power transformer. This red-black wire has its own tap. So they don't use the heater tap to light up your indicator light. They just, boom. There you go. So interesting stuff. Alright, so I'm going to change that death cap and then we'll do something else. Got the death cap out, put it on the meter, and it was just barely out of tolerance. So, he's gone. And there's the new safety capacitor right there. And one more thing I think I'm going to do before we fire up for real here is got a couple of caps right here over the power tubes. And they're 0.001 at 2000 volts. And where's Mr. Schematic? So that is these guys right here. Yeah, 0.001 at 2 kilovolts. And yeah, they're just sitting right above the tubes, cooking away like a rotisserie chicken. So that's not good. And you think 2000 volts, holy cow. This amp is called, I think, a 65, something 65. I'll see it when I pull the cab out. And, you know, I was thinking, how are they getting 65 watts? Because I'm assuming that's what that means, you know, out of an amp with 2 power tubes. But right there, 725 volts, that's what's going to the center tap of the output transformer. So yeah, this thing kicks out the jams.
Turn off the jams, motherfucker! Yes!
This thing is no joke. And yeah, with all that voltage on the plates, these things are probably barbecued. So we'll replace those and then we'll fire up again and see what we got. Got the first cap out from above the tube here, and as suspected, it was 50% out of tolerance. So, yep, that was a good call. Alright, got those caps replaced. And I believe those caps and these diodes are there to give a path to ground to high frequency, very high frequencies, so there's no high frequency oscillation in the tubes. I believe that's what that's all about. So that's a good thing. Alright, let's dial her up and see what happens. Alright, I got her dialed up to that. And I just freaked out for about 15 minutes because I was getting 0 sound when I had sound last night. And I was getting voltage on the plates, so, you know, if I screwed something up over here, you know, that would screw up the power for everything down the line. And then I checked and double checked all this, and that all looked good. But I've just been fidgeting around and tried firing it up again, and it's working again. So I really don't know what that was all about. thinking there may be some funk with the speaker jack. I'll clean those up in a minute here. But here we go. Making noise again. All right, so back to where we, pardon me, back to where we were before. So, why don't I, before we move on, so we don't have any more mystery problems, I'll clean the jacks up. The knobs all seem to be really smooth and clean, but clean these guys up here. Somebody's making a phone call.
Hello! What? No! I'm on the toilet! Yeah, no, I'm finished!
Clean these jacks up and then we'll move on. Alright, I haven't cleaned her up yet, but while I've got it dialed up to, what do I have it, 85 volts, just going through the controls, making sure everything works. Got it in the second channel. Seems like the tremolo works, even without a foot switch, so that's cool. And it's not going to sound great at 85 volts, but it sounds. Reverb tank's not hooked up. Oh yeah, it's very usable. Alright, so it looks like everything works. So we'll clean her up and then we'll dial her up all the way and then we'll pull out the real speaker. I think I understand it now. I just looked on the face of it that bigger is bigger. And that's not how transformers work. So the black yellow wire here from the high goes into a tap on the primary, and the low goes through the full winding on the primary, and that changes the winding ratio from the primary to the secondary. And so if there's a greater ratio, there you go, you get greater voltage. Am I right? I think I'm right about that.
The Force is strong with you.
So that's how that works. See that? We learned something new today. Alright, let's dial her up all the way here. Turn that on. Turn this on. Let the tubes warm up for a second. This amplifier is supposed to have a 5 amp main fuse, which seems awfully high because, as you can see, you know, it's only running 25 watts. I mean, we're not dialed up all the way, but 5 amps seems to be extreme. But whatever. It came with a 4 amp fuse, and I think I'm just going to leave that in there. That should be more than adequate. Alright, let's see what we got here. Alright, that looks good. Let the tube settle out. And so, yeah, I mean, it's only got 2 power tubes and 1 preamp tube, and the vacuum tubes are like in a traditional tube amp. That's where you're getting all your current draw from. Tubes are high voltage, low current items, but, you know, the heaters and stuff are lower voltage and higher current. So a lot of your current draw is coming from your heaters, but solid state stuff is generally lower voltage and higher current, but it's far more efficient. So the overall total of current draw is going to be less. And this is a very efficient little amplifier. Well, little. It's kind of a medium-sized amplifier. Alright, let's dial her up. Get some noise out of this. And we got it plugged into the current limiter, just in case something goes haywire. Go right to 120. There we are, $1.20. Alright, let's see what we got. Alright, let's see how she sounds dialed all the way up. So now we're at 560 milliamps and about 57 watts total. Put the master and the volume both at 5. Ooh, there's a nice chord. Cool. Alright, everything looks good here. I'm going to whittle around a little bit more, just make sure everything's solid electrically. And we'll try out the speaker that is going to be going in the combo cabinet, and then hopefully we'll put it all back together and we'll have a working, functional whole amplifier. Imagine that around here.
Oh, why did you get it so big?
Hey, that's what she said.
That should do the trick. Alright, this weapon of mass destruction is what came with this amplifier when I purchased it. This would be an EVM-12 Lima, I believe. An Electro Voice. I believe Clapton, he used a JBL, which are very popular in the late 70s and early 80s. But we've done one better. Many people call this the greatest guitar speaker of all time. I don't know if it's the greatest guitar speaker of all time, but it may be the heaviest. So let's hook this bad boy up and see what happens. Alright, let's see what we got here. Yep, that'll work. Houston, we've had a problem.
Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here.
Anyway, I can't move that with one hand, but yeah, this doesn't fit.
This is Houston. Say again, please. Houston, we've had a problem.
Which has me wondering, all these amplifiers, and most of the amplifiers you've seen on this channel, I bought from one guy I met on Craigslist. He used to own a music store in Connecticut, and he got out of the business, and he was looking to sell his house and then retire into the woods of Maine. So in his basement, he had a private stock of stuff he had collected over, a few decades. And by the time I met him, he already sold off, all the stuff that worked. So what he had left was stuff that was in various states of disrepair, including this amplifier, which apparently the only problem that it really had was that one wire going to the pin 1 here on the phase inverter. That's what was holding this amp up. So anyway, this was like 2 years ago that I tore this apart. I think on my very first video you see me washing this cab. But I'm pretty sure this was installed in this cabinet. But I don't seem to have the straps, the chassis straps. So this is probably in pieces when I got it. And he probably stuck this in here for whatever reason. But it doesn't fit. So we're going to have to buy another speaker for this, I think. We'll find another speaker. Maybe we'll get a JBL and go full Eric Clapton, but, that might be, you know, an investment that's not really worth it for this amplifier. As cool as it is, it's probably not cost effective, but you never know. There are deals out there. What else do we got here? Need some work on the Tolex. So this, yeah, there's definitely another video in this project. Need to fix the Tolex. Need to add to my next order to amplified parts, get some chassis straps. I do have the foot switch around here somewhere. Where the hell did it go? Hold on. Here it is. Right where I left it. Put it in the light here. A nice Music Man foot switch for the reverb and the tremolo. And there's, looks like Paul and John jamming away on their guitars. Look at that. They don't make them like that anymore. Feels a little crunchy, but not too bad. They probably just haven't been pressed in a few decades. So yeah, not sure if this is the right reverb tank, but the other tanks I have in my stack look like they were made in like the mid-60s. And this amp, what did we say, was a 73? So is that a date code? I don't know. 610 maybe? 86, 76, 66? Probably not 66. May have been a replacement, but whatever. We get another video coming out of this amplifier. But so far so good. She looks like she's going to be a success in the end. Stand by. So thanks for coming. I hope you enjoyed the video. And we'll see you next time. Hopefully we'll do something cool. Rock on, dudes and dudettes. It's too bad that speaker doesn't fit in this cab with the chassis because it sounds amazing. Check this out. See you next time.
Done!